Quick informal update to the Retr0Bright series here. I wanted to retry the immersion process using a UV lamp and some oxy boost mixed in with the peroxide mixture. So let's take a look at it and see how well it did. Of course, I expected this version of the process to take a little bit longer, so I did the immersion for well over 48 hours, whereas last time we just did it for a few hours on a sunny Saturday weekend. So let's see what it looks like. So here's a side-by-side comparison of a couple items. This is the one I did in the first video that was done with the immersion method with just hydrogen peroxide and good old-fashioned sunshine. And this one was the one I did with the modified process with hydrochloric acid, oxy booster, and a UV light for a much longer period of time. You can see pretty well that this one actually turned out quite a bit brighter, but with this process, we have the dreaded splotches. And this is not the only item this occurred to. This also occurred to the keyboard chassis, the keyboard upper piece. You can see I got a little bit of a splotch right there on that too. This is one of two reasons why I am not a huge fan of Retr0Bright. It has the ability to take something that looks yucky and make it look yucky-er. I'd rather my things be a uniform color than look all pockmarked, but some people like to take the chance on it, and that's fine. The other reason I don't like Retr0Brighting is because it takes away the patina and the history of the device. I like to kind of try to leave them the way they are. Just clean them up with a glass cleaner or something like that to get the grime off, and leave it yellow to remind us of what it looks like. After I posted my first Retr0Bright video, I got some comments from a couple different people about the process I used, questions, comments, ways to vary the process to protect the items better. So let's read some of those comments from people. Since I posted that video, I got a couple very important comments from some viewers regarding the process, some things I missed and some suggestions. Herbert Fung of the Apple II Enthusiast community on Facebook wrote to me. He said, "Hi Joe, just watched your Retr0Bright immersion video and wanted to add my 2 cents here." He says he always removes the Apple logo before treatment. As the logo is made of metal, it potentially can react to the hydrogen peroxide, and he'd rather not subject the paint to more UV than necessary. I agree with that. I just missed it. In my case, I didn't really think about it. To remove the logo, I use a hairdryer to heat it up so the adhesive softens. Then by using a straightened paper clip, I apply very gentle pressure to push the logo from the hole behind. Actually, you can see that in this one right here. There's a tiny little hole right here that you can remove the logo from. So, good point there. The adhesive usually stays on the logo and can be reapplied later on. You could probably use a light, like rubber cement type thing if it doesn't stick when you put it back. He says also, secondly, I find the bubbles that form on the bottom of the submerged pieces often will cause the item to float. I noticed you used a part of a brick to weigh down the bottom keyboard cover. And he says, what I have done is use an inverted glass partially filled with hydrogen peroxide to weigh down the piece. For smaller pieces like keycaps, I use that poster putty to stick them to the bottom of the container. That way they don't flip upside down after the bubbles form on the bottom. That's absolutely brilliant. That's great ideas. So, if you try the immersion process, try out some of those things to help your process go out a little bit better. Thanks, Herbert, for sending that in. And also, Rob Ostry commented right on the video. He said, not too bad for February. Yeah, I know. But waiting for July or August might have helped more for direct sunlight. Agreed entirely. I was doing this as a whim on a weekend because I had free time and the weather outside was particularly nice, so I figured I might as well just try to do it. Doing it in the winter in the Midwest is not generally a recommended solution, so I agree with you on that there, Rob. He also says, also 8-Bit Guy's technique with saran wrap looks promising. You should check out his videos. Yeah, that's the paste method where you apply the cream version of the hydrogen peroxide, or you create a paste of regular hydrogen peroxide and a thickener like arrowroot or something pasted on. Then you cover it with saran wrap to keep their moisture in, so that it'll you won't have to constantly reapply it. I will be checking out that process in a future video. Not quite sure when I'll do it. Got to find a little free time and some sunlight to make that happen. So it might be a little bit later in the year, but I will be checking that out. And thanks for commenting on that. Well, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. While you're here, check out some of my other videos. Keep an eye out for more Retr0Bright action. And remember, 8 bits are all you need. On my last video, I got some comments from a couple different people about ways to modify the process to do this. There's an ant. Do you see this ant? What is this ant doing on camera? You're not the star. I am!